Right here in Ibadan city, there is a small village, and in that village lived a young woman named Bisi. She was known throughout the region for her beauty, but what truly set her apart was her lustrous, long, thick black hair. In a place where most women had short, dull hair, Bisi's hair was a sight to behold. From a young age, Bisi's mother had taken great care in grooming her daughter's hair. She would spend hours washing, oiling, and braiding it, passing down secrets that had been in their family for generations. As Bisi grew older, her hair only became more magnificent, cascading down her back like a shimmering waterfall. Bisi's mother beamed with pride whenever she walked through the village with her daughter. "Look at my Bisi," she would say to anyone who would listen. "Have you ever seen such beautiful hair?" The other villagers couldn't help but agree, though some did so with gritted teeth and narrowed eyes. As Bisi grew into a young woman, her hair became both a blessing and a curse. Men of all ages would stop and stare as she passed by, their jaws dropping in awe. Some would even forget what they were doing because they were blown away by the sight of her hair swaying in the breeze. This attention did not go unnoticed by the other women in the village. Wives glared at their husbands when they caught them staring. Young girls whispered behind their hands, wondering what magic Bisi possessed to make her hair grow so long and beautiful. At first, Bisi was happy to share her hair care secrets with anyone who asked. She would patiently explain the methods her mother had taught her, the special oils, the gentle combing techniques, the protective styles. But to her dismay, the other women never seemed to achieve the same results. As time went on, they grew increasingly frustrated. They followed Bisi's advice to the letter, but their hair remained short and lackluster. Some began to whisper that Bisi must be lying, hiding her true secret out of spite. One day, as Bisi was fetching water from the village well, she felt a sharp tug on her hair. She spun around to find Adeola, the wife of a local farmer, holding a pair of scissors. "If you won't share your real secret," Adeola hissed, "then perhaps I will take a piece for myself." News of Adeola's attempt to cut Bisi's hair spread quickly through the village. While some were shocked by such a brazen act, others secretly applauded it. Bisi began to feel unsafe, constantly looking over her shoulders and tying her hair up in tight buns to protect it. As the jealousy and resentment grew, some of the bolder women began to confront Bisi directly. "Cut your hair," they would demand. "It is not fair that you have such beauty while the rest of us suffer." Bisi, tired of the constant harassment, finally snapped back with a phrase that would become her trademark. "Grow it if you can. If not, be quiet." Peju couldn't believe the ridiculousness that her best friend Bisi had to go through with the women in the village. Unlike the other women, Peju never showed an ounce of jealousy towards Bisi's hair. She admired her friend's beauty, but she knew the work that Bisi put into maintaining it. Peju couldn't believe the ridiculous rumors that were spreading about her friend. Some said Bisi used black magic to grow her hair. Others claimed she was sucking the energy from men to fuel her hair's growth. The most ridiculous rumor was the one that suggested that Bisi wasn't even human, but a spirit sent to torment the village women with jealousy. Whenever Peju heard these rumors, she would shake her head in disbelief. Have you all lost your minds? She would ask. I've known Bisi since we were children. I've seen how much time and effort she puts into caring for her hair. There is no magic, just dedication. While the women of the village schemed and gossiped, a young man named Ola had his eyes set on Bisi. Ola worked as a guard at the king's palace, where he had grown accustomed to the finer things in life. He saw Bisi as his ticket to elevating his own status in the village. Ola began to pursue Bisi relentlessly. He would wait for her at the well, offer to carry her baskets, and shower her with compliments. A woman as beautiful as you deserves to be treated like a queen, he would say, puffing out his chest in pride, as if he had said the most intelligent thing in the world. Despite Ola's persistence, Bisi remained uninterested. She saw through his shallow flattery and recognized that he valued her only for her appearance. I am more than just my hair, she would tell him firmly. Find someone who will be your partner, not your trophy. Bisi was completely in the dark. She didn't know that her rejections of Ola were breaking Peju's heart. For years, Peju had harbored secret feelings for the handsome palace guard. She had never confessed her love because she believed she was too plain. One day, gathering all her courage, after seeing Bisi reject Ola time and time again, Peju approached Ola and confessed her feelings to him. But Ola, blinded by his pursuit of Bisi, cruelly dismissed her. Why would I want you when I could have Bisi? He scoffed. You are nothing special. Ola's harsh words planted a seed of darkness in Peju's heart. For the first time, she looked at her best friend and her best friend's hair with envy, anger, rather than admiration. The whispers of the other village women began to echo in her mind, and she thought to herself, what if? What if there really was some secret, some magic that Bisi was hiding, which made her shine above the rest? It simply wasn't fair that she got whatever she wanted, did whatever she wanted. Driven by jealousy and heartbreak, Peju found herself at the door of the village herbalist. This old woman's heart was filled with strange smells and even stranger objects. She sat down and narrated her ordeal to the woman, who would soon become her messiah. I need something to strip away Bisi's hair, Peju whispered. She was ashamed of the words that were coming out of her mouth, but the anger in her wouldn't give way. The herbalist mixed a foul-smelling cream, chanting as she walked, hair, 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 walk, walk, walk. She muttered along with other words Peju couldn't understand. When she was done, she handed Peju a small pot. This will do what you ask, she crackled. But remember, all magic comes with a price. With trembling hands and a determined heart, Peju wrapped the pot of cream in a colorful cloth and presented it to Bisi as a gift. I found this new hair cream in the market, she lied. I thought you might like to try it. Bisi was touched by her friend's thoughtfulness. In a world filled with crazy, jealous, and irrational women, she was glad she had a friend like Peju. And so, days went by, weeks went by, since Peju gifted Bisi the cream. She had begun to think that the herbalist was nothing but a charlatan, because she had asked Bisi if she was using the cream she had gifted her, and Bisi swore that she had been using it every day. One night, Bisi applied the cream to her hair before she went to bed, like she always does. admiring how it made her locks shine in the dim candlelight. As she drifted off to sleep, she had no idea of the transformation that awaited her. In the dead of the night, Bisi awoke to an intense itching on her scalp. She scratched at it, trying to find relief, but the sensation only grew stronger. After the third time, she stumbled out of bed and lit a candle, making her way to the small mirror in the corner of her room. As Bisi raised the candle to her face, she screamed out loud. The reflection staring back at her was completely bald. Her beautiful hair, her pride and joy was gone. Panic rising in her chest, she spun around, searching for any signs of her hair. She had a dreadful thought. What if one of the village women had successfully come and cut her hair while she was sleeping? All of a sudden, she heard a sound. Bisi looked around frantically and wondered what the sound was. Her eyes fell upon a sight that defied belief. There, standing upright as if possessed, were her braids. They swayed slightly as if blown by an unfelt breeze. Bisi's eyes widened in terror. She finally let out a bigger scream. As she fled from the house, her braids chased her. Bisi's screams woke the entire village. People came out of their homes to find the once beautiful woman running through the street, bald and hysterical, running away from her own hair. They were shocked. This was something they had never seen before. Some laughed, thinking it was justice served. Others, seeing her genuine terror, felt the first stirring of guilt. As dawn broke, the village elder called for an emergency meeting with the women of the village. They sat in the village square where everybody could fit and everybody could listen. This has gone too far, he announced to the gathered crowd. Whatever curse has been placed on Bisi must be lifted. Who among you is responsible for this? Unable to bear the weight of her guilt, Peju stepped forward. Tears streaming down her face, she confessed to her betrayal. The entire village fell silent. They were shocked that the quiet, kind Peju could have done such a thing. The village herbalist was summoned, but she claimed ignorance of how to reverse the spell. She said, "Magic this powerful has a will of its own. I can't do anything about it." Perhaps if the young woman learned to love herself without her hair, it might return on its own. Moved by what Bisi was going through and ashamed of their past behavior, the women of the village banded together to help her. They shared their own beauty secrets, brought herbs and oils, and kept her company during her darkest hours. Ola, seeing Bisi without her famous hair, quickly lost interest. His shallow nature was finally clear for all to see, and he found himself shunned by the very people he had hoped to impress. Racked with guilt, Peju devoted herself to caring for Bisi. She spent days researching cures and nights comforting her friend. Slowly, the two began to rebuild their fractured friendship. Weeks passed, and Bisi had begun to accept a new appearance. She even found a certain freedom in no longer being defined by her hair. It was then, when she least expected it, that she felt the first tiny sprout of new growth on her scalp. Day by day, Bisi's hair began to grow back. It seemed even more lustrous than before, shimmering with an almost magical quality. The village watched in awe as her locks returned to their former glory. As her hair grew, Bisi reflected on all that had happened. Bisi made a decision. She loved her village, but the memories of jealousy and betrayal were too painful. It was time for a fresh start somewhere new. The entire village gathered to bid Bisi farewell. There were tears and apologies and promises to be better. Bisi forgave them all, even Peju, understanding that jealousy could drive people to dark places. Before Bisi left, Peju made a solemn vow. I will spend the rest of my days teaching others the valuable lesson we have learned. She said, true beauty comes from kindness, and there is enough of it for everyone. With a small bag and a heart full of hope, Bisi set out for a new life. She didn't know where she was going, but she knew she was living with far more wisdom than she had possessed before. In Bisi's absence, the village began to change. The women, no longer consumed by jealousy, started to appreciate their own unique beauty. They shared tips and tricks, supporting each other instead of competing. Even Ola learned from the experience. Humbled by his fall from grace, he began to look beyond superficial beauty. As years passed, Bisi's story became a legend in the village. Mothers would tell their daughters about the woman with the magical hair and the importance of inner beauty and kindness. Far away, Bisi had found a new home where she was valued for her wisdom and her kindness. And her hair was still beautiful, but it no longer defined her. One day, a familiar face appeared in Bisi's new village. It was Peju, older now, but with the same kind eyes. The two friends embraced after years and years of separation. The end. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. And of course, subscribe, like, and don't forget to share this video with someone you might think needs it the most. Thank you for watching.